Field coming to the green flag. Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch. They'll drag race their way into turn one.
Really unorganized back in the pack. A lot of guys having trouble in that restart. But good, clean up front.
Brad Keselowski lost the lead early. We see Kurt Busch in the one trying to make the move on Martin Truex Jr. Keselowski, after winning the pole, lost the lead right as they exited turn 2, and it's Kyle Busch who leads lap 1. The fight for fourth. Martin Truex Jr. on the outside. That traction compound that's been put down on the racetrack, how hard will these drivers be leaning on it early?
They'll be looking for it. They'll be trying to find all the grip they can. There's a lot of grip on that bottom groove, but the entry in the preferred line is high, and they're going to cut down in the center of the corner, exit low, try to get back down in that traction compound on the bottom groove.
Well, I'm distracted, not because of the battle at the front, but we already mentioned all the backup cars as we see right here. The 12 making a move on the one on the left-hand side of your screen. That's the 42 of Kyle Larson being chased by the 11 of Denny Hamlin. And look at Kyle Larson, the 42. He's going to look 3 wide off turn 2. Denny wisely kind of let the 42, hey buddy, you lead the way, I'll follow you through the holes. Already plus 8 or 10 spots in the race.
Like a fullback blocking for his running back. Kyle Larson will clear the holes for him, and Denny Hamlin will try to follow.
That's the 11 car bumper cam on the left side right there. Gives you a great view of the surface of the track and the speed, just how fast these guys are going. And the 12 of Blaney, welcome to New Hampshire. He's faster than the one. He's been underneath the one a couple times, Dale, but that's the frustration. We're going to use that word all day long. Has yet to be able to clear Kurt Busch in that one car.
Trying to go to the
Look at Harvick. Harvick going to try to squeak outside. He's going to block it. Now can Harvick carry enough speed in the one to slide in front of Blaney? Harvick relapsed bottom well, but look at the run.
Blaney back to the outside. That's the question, right? Everybody's trying to fight for that bottom on exit. What are you willing to do? How aggressive are you willing to get on a guy? If you're on the inside, do you drive in his door? Look at that. Harvick wants to give him a little bit. Do you drive in a guy's door in the throttle off the bottom? If you're on the outside, how hard do you shove a guy down and keep him tight on the inside? Risk getting spun out?
These are stage points they're fighting for right now, coming up on the final lap of stage 1, and these two right now are fighting in the 8th and 9th position.
You mentioned final lap, the second place car of Eric Jones, that 20. We talked about the gamble, the risk, points versus gambles. The 20 took a gamble, took 2 tires, and stayed in the second position. He's going to get a big chunk of points to help that run to try to make the playoffs. The negative is when this caution comes out, I expect most everyone to take right sides. Now that it worked for him, he'll have to take 4, but Chris Gale getting those points when he can. I like the call.
I like that call too, Steve. I think you have points sitting in front of you. You have to go grab them. You can't be guaranteed you're going to get them later.
Kyle Busch already has 4 wins. Now he's starting to add to his playoff point total. 7th stage win for Kyle Busch. Fight for 10th. Look at the move to the outside. Suarez makes on Jimmy Johnson, and he'll take 10th away from him.
You see that inside line struggling. They're going to go 3 wide here. Jimmy Johnson on the inside. He's going to have to back off.
And Newman didn't get a good launch. Jimmy was actually pushing him on it down the front straightaway.
Still 3 wide back here with Suarez, who's also trying to take this strategy and get some points.
And Ryan Newman battling for second. Now you got to get going. You know tires are coming. You know faster cars are coming.
Oh, we got a crash down the front straightaway.
That's Boyer.
That's Boyer in the fence.
You just talked about it, Steve. That's another problem with getting back in that field.
Pretty good. I'm not killed this far up inside 43.
Truex not happy.
It's not just points. You know, it puts you in a position where you can have these things happen.
Yeah, it looks like Clint Boyer come up off of turn 4. May have come across the nose of the 19 car. We'll have to take a look at it and see.
There was 2 and 3 wide as they came out of turn 4, and obviously not enough room for everyone. Let's look again.
So at the bottom of the screen, 19 is on the outside of the 14. 14 gets a little bit loose, pinches them both in the fence. It's hard racing there, but Clint slides up the track a little bit in the throttle.
Yeah, did not give enough room to Truex. You saw him get loose, and then he was just out of control. And
Martin upset.
Hamlin and Harvick making up row 1. Denny Hamlin on the outside, Harvick in the 4 on the inside.
And it's the best restart for the inside line we've seen all day long with Kevin Harvick. Denny Hamlin doing a great job with that backup car today, putting himself in position here at the front of this field.
They stay side by side, and now the 4 tucks in behind the 11.
And the 4 still going to go to the bottom here. Going to try to make something work on this bottom. He's side by side. Can't get to the gas. 11 car, great run off of turn 4.
a little bit further back here, guys, the 18 car, Kyle Busch, who has pretty much dominated this race. There was some contact. He had a tire rub. He had to pit under that caution, and that has got him all the way back in 15th place right now. Just passed for 14th. Now he's in a 3-wide situation.
Yeah, here's the issue that happened just before this caution. He gets into the left front corner of the 42 car Larson, creating a very bad tire rub right at the end of that stage, and so he had to come to pit road.
And now he's in no man's land, right in that light gray. Drifts up a little bit higher.
And he's just changing lanes, trying to get in the preferred lane for that corner exit. But he's having a hard time fending off this 22 of Joe Logano guy we haven't talked about too much today. Joey struggled all day long to move this car forward.
And we heard Joey in the pre-race show say he told his team they weren't good enough. They needed to make some big changes, and he hoped they'd hit it right, but so far they've not. Let's hear what Kyle Busch had to say.
What are you going to need for traffic here? Huh. Yeah, right. The nose to be 2 inches lower. It's going to be a battle. We're up to it. It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, Junior, we've been bragging on Ryan Newman all day long. Started at the back, made his way into the top 10, but some crushing news from behind the wheel a moment ago. Listen on the radio.
I lost a cylinder. Yeah, how are your gauges? Gauges were fine. I lost a cylinder. Talked about the engine guys. They said just keep going for now. All right, what are you going to do? Before they got back, they can pick up the parts.
Down on power for Ryan Newman. Such a disappointment for this race team. He was battling for 11th a moment ago. Now he's back in 15th trying to hang on.
That's so disappointing. Such a good run. There's, once again, there's a guy that's fighting to make the playoffs having trouble.
You know, his lap times aren't awful, but as they go and cycle into those new tires, that's when it's really going to show up. Right now, he's losing time for sure, and not a ton of it.
And with the issues that others have been having already, Newman came into this race. He was just 2 points out of the playoffs in 17th. Now, as they're running, he currently is 16 points above the cut line, but with an engine problem, you just heard him. He's not bringing it in. They'll have to bring the bag out for the parts. So he's going to stay on the track as long as he can.
And it's just crazy when you look at the playoff standings and think about the entire weekend between practice and the race. William Byron's had an issue. Kyle Larson, Boyer, Johnson, Jones, now Newman.
Oh, look out.
18.
Man.
Kyle Busch into the wall.
Hello, yellow.
And there's the caution we had just predicted. The possibility of a caution coming out.
Stay out for the caution if we can.
Looks like his tires are all up. I don't know if he had one going down.
We're fine here. The toe's knocked a little bit to the left, steering more to the left.
He's following Newman into the corner and
He gets loose.
Yeah, just free on corner entry, then chases it up. We talked about earlier how if you get out of this groove, there's just no grip whatsoever. Right there, made contact with the wall, and you heard him say he feels like the toe is off, and he's given that indication by where the steering wheel, right, really early loose, get in the corner, and just couldn't get the thing turned. So he's got a mark on his steering wheel. He knows where it's supposed to be, and that mark is not lined up anymore. That was that information saying the toe is knocked off. Front end alignment's just not where it was before he hit the wall.
10 laps to go.
If that lap car bothers the 11 inning, I think he's going to be able to get by him without it impeding his line any, except for when he wants to turn down right here. He's not able to really get down and maybe as far as he wants. But still, he's gaining so much on entry on the 4, and that seems to be improving and encouraging him every lap. And Harvick's looking in the mirror and seeing that car getting closer and closer and closer, and there's really nothing he can do but try not to make a mistake and let him gain it all in one lap.
That's right. You just have to make your best lap.
Focus forward, drivers, not on the mirror. Is that what you're doing up there with Kevin Harvick?
100%. This isn't a racetrack where you're yet going to try to take the line away from them. You're just running your fastest line. If it was a mile and a half, maybe you're going and taking the air away from them. But here, you just have to run your best line.
Half a second seems to be the gap. How aggressive will Denny Hamlin get? Coming up on 8 laps to go.
Oh, man, I don't know if Denny had such a great exit right there.
He was wide on exit.
Look here, this is such a great way to see just where he's gaining and exactly what Harvick's doing. Harvick's car, the back tail wagging in the corners on entry into the center. Harvick trying to get down in there and get everything he can on entry.
And as Denny gets closer,
man, he gains so hard.
As Denny gets closer, Kevin can't just check his entry up because then Denny can just roll into the back of him and move him out of that lane.
Yeah, that's the advantage that Denny has right now, is he's able to enter so hard into the corner, so much further into the corner, and if he can't get to that 4th, he will use that to his advantage if he's within reach.
Good exit, smooth and straight.
Harvick doesn't even want to let it come to that.
If Kevin Harvick is perfect, can Denny Hamlin catch him?
I don't know. 6 laps to go.
Won't be close.
Coming to 6 to go right here.
Denny's faster almost every lap, but he's just a little faster.
Straight away out the back.
That was information to Denny Hamlin.
Oh, Denny got in there deep.
Yeah.
Oh, deep.
He's over the line there. He's going to lose a little bit of time. He's just trying so hard to get into that corner. He sees, hey, my entry is my advantage, and he's trying to get all he can right there, and he knows time's running out.
That was probably 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second right there that Denny gave up.
Coming up on 5 laps to go. Kevin Harvick has to be perfect.
If I was a spotter, if I was Kevin's spotter, I'd say, hey, he made a mistake. You made a mistake. Just you don't make no mistakes. Just do what you're doing.
Lap time, man. That's all I want to hear right now. If I'm the driver, I just want to hear lap time. Tell me what I ran that lap. I'm going to do it again. Because if I can do that in the next 5, I'm okay.
Jeff, you mentioned lap traffic, and they had a big gap to lap traffic, but these two are just running so fast. Only a few car lengths in front of them. We see a single car, but then up in front of them, 3 cars. I'm not sure if they'll come into play with 4 to go. But that's the last thing Harvick wants to see outside the windshield is other race cars.
It will affect his line, but will he time it right, or will he get to them at the right time where it will not affect it to the point where Denny Hamlin can catch you?
Denny had a great 1 and 2 that corner.
Yeah.
He made some ground up.
Harvick's been running 29.30. See what this lap car does here, if it costs him any time.
Coming up on Corey LaJoie in the 32. He moves out of the way. Harvick will stay up high. 3 laps to go. 21 starts for Kevin Harvick since his last win in Texas last year.
Man, Denny has chopped that lead big time.
That was 0.2 of a second that lap.
Goodness. I did not expect him to be able to reel him back in like this, but he is there. And Steve, you said it, those cars out there in front, they are going to come into play. They are affecting that 4 car now.
2 laps to go.
Keep taking all you got.
So I don't know if Denny has enough time just to stick to his game. He's going to have to continue to drive that car hard into the corner. Hope Kevin Harvick makes a mistake or these lap cars slow him up.
Kevin Harvick trying to hold off Denny Hamlin, but he has to negotiate through the traffic. Here comes the 11 on the high side. Coming out of turn 4, 1 lap to go.
That was not what Kevin Harvick wanted.
Block the bottom. Block the bottom.
He's to his bumper. He bumps him. They're going into 1. The 4 up the racetrack. Here comes Hamlin on the inside.
Keep an eye right rear.
Down the backstretch. Harvick with the advantage. Will he try it again?
Block the bottom, block the top. He's trying to go top side.
Hamlin up high.
Coming outside here. Coming outside. Get up, get up, get up.
They make contact. Out of 4. Harvick with the advantage. He'll hold him off. Harvick wins again in New Hampshire.
Hell yeah, boys. Great job. I never thought that happened, but awesome call.
Kevin Harvick climbs out of the car victorious back to victory lane at New Hampshire. Kevin, I know it's been a little while since you've been back here, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah, just want to thank all those fans up there. It's been a minute. We knew I didn't think we had the best chance to win staying out, but Rodney and those guys made a great call with our Busch beer, National Forest Federation Foundation car here. We had a good car all day. We just never could get track position, and stayed out there and ran a lot of good laps. I didn't want to see that traffic there at the end. It really made my car tight, and he got to me. He tried to move me out of the way down there, and I knew that was coming as close as he was. So I just stood on the brakes, and I'm like, half throttle down the back straightaway. I'm like, you're not getting under me again. And he drove to the outside of me, and I just waited till he got near me, and I just put a wheel on him.